Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. It is April the 14th. It's Friday. Tomorrow, emotional freedom will be attained by many folks. You could still join us by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But champions of emotional freedom, Dr. Jim Burns, Dr. Jill Hubbard, are here today in the studio. Hello there, guys.
Hey, hi. Steve.
Hello,
good to be
Steve.
with you.
Thanks for saying hi.
Yes.
2 seconds late. But you know what?
We missed our cue, Jim.
Here's the deal. It is National Ex-Spouse Day. Now, that
Seriously?
sounds weird. That sounds weird.
Does.
But in 1987, Reverend Ronald Coleman of Kansas City, Missouri, he wanted to do this day, and here's the purpose: to forgive your ex-spouse and move on without bitterness and anger, which I think is a great thing, you know? And you can. I remember my ex when all that happened, and I wanted to kill her, you know? That's how I was. I didn't forgive. I wanted to kill. And then I got better, and I just wanted her to die. And then I didn't need her to die. I just wanted her to have an illness. So, you know, as you get better, things get better. And then eventually I was praying good things for her because she's the mother of our daughter, Madeline. Mm-hmm. But I had to deal with the reality of how much I was hurt and how bad it was. But once you do that, then you can work on that. So I want to encourage everybody to forgive. Now, here's the dilemma in the Christian world. We think we're supposed to forgive, and so we say, okay, I forgive. But what we need to do first is grieve what was taken, grieve what we lost. That's really the beginning of true forgiveness for so many people.
Well, and you forgive what is past. If it's currently happening, then you're having to survive that and deal with it appropriately.
Right. And unforgiveness is one of those things that just straps you to your past. And you drag it with you all over. And if that's the deal, come join us tomorrow, because emotional freedom is about freeing us from unforgiveness, which is just a horrible, horrible waste. We don't want that for anybody.
Well, unforgiveness is a little bit like what a friend of mine says, drinking rat poison and waiting for the other person to die. You know, so what happens is we become bitter, we become resentful. When really the process is that we do need to, learning to forgive properly really helps not only, you know, the whole situation, but it helps us. It helps our own spirit.
Well, and I think people get afraid that their pain will be lost, right? That nobody will acknowledge it, and so they hold on to it, right? And so we do have to go through, like you're saying, Steve, and acknowledge it. But you don't want to keep giving that person real estate. It's like then you continue, in a sense, chasing your pain.
Great point.
I had another friend say that unforgiveness is like having a wild raccoon live in your home, and you just don't know where it's going to show up, and then you're always on guard because it can bring you down. And so we don't want that for any person. We want forgiveness and freedom where we can truly be grateful to God for forgiving us, and then we can give that gift to ourselves. It's not, when we forgive somebody, it's not a gift to them, it's a gift to you. And by the way, that rat poisoning analogy, it is true.
It is.
You kill yourself over somebody that killed you with the pain they caused. Let's just go with that one killing, not two. Let's forgive. Go through the process. We're going to take a break. We're going to come right back with your calls. We got a bunch. So join us right after this for New Life Live.
My husband was involved with a pornography addiction. He was unfaithful. I called the wedding off. He stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Workshop is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
My husband is a recovering sex addict. There were strip clubs, other ladies.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Workshop will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, June 10th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here, Dr. Jim Burns, Dr. Jill Hubbard. We're going to go right to the calls here. And how about we talk with Karen, Bremerton, Washington, KGNW. Hello, Karen. How are you today, and how could we help?
Hey there, I'm doing great. I've been chatting, I guess you'd say, I put it on social media rather than any kind of, because I know that there's other people that have probably been or are going through the same thing.
Okay.
But this is and it was suggested either by you or one of your staff, whoever it is that I've been talking to,
yeah.
that I call and just, tell what's going on. And
well, tell us then. What is it?
Okay. Well, I'm like one of those people who, it was just me and my sister, and I'm the youngest.
Okay.
And I was the one that was put in a corner. And, I couldn't have a problem. I couldn't get sick. It was like, oh, God, not you too. And,
oh, boy.
So my dad, I remember when I was a teenager saying to me, thank God for you, Karen. You never have a problem.
Oh.
You never, and it's just, I just learned to hide is what it was. Mm-hmm. It's not that I never had a problem. It's just I was popular because I was everybody's friend, but I had nobody to talk to. Mm. I didn't have somebody.
Yeah.
And for him to say that to me, it just like, I right then I was struggling because my friends are promiscuous, but I can't be. There was just something in me that just couldn't be.
Yeah.
It was just, I knew I was adopted. Later I found out I am adopted. I'm adopted by God. That's why I don't fit into my alcoholic home and my, some of the friends.
So what are you struggling with now? What's the issue now after all that?
Well, my mom passed away a year ago, February.
Uh-huh.
And Mom and Dad were living in a retirement home in Vancouver, Washington, and we'd go down once a month because it was a long weekend. And we go down there. Well, up until Mom died, it was even to the point, just a case in point, like a few weeks before she passed, we went to get chicken. And I'm sitting in the passenger seat, Dad's driving, and I paid for the chicken even. But when we come home, he's talking like I wasn't even there. And I'm talking, it's like, I'm not kidding. It was just I am not there. And in my quiet time this morning, remembered my mom saying, if I say my feelings are hurt, I wear my heart on my sleeve. And you just got to get over it, Karen.
Okay.
It's never an apology. Mom passes away, and my dad is completely lost. And in the process of getting him moved from there to Marysville, which is where my daughter and his great-grandkids, that he never wanted anything to do with. Now all of a sudden he's holding on to family so tight, and we had this bonding thing.
Okay, now wait a second. I've got to get you. I got to stop the story, and you got to get to a question, because I want to know how we can help you here, because it's a long story. So how is it that you? What do you want us to address?
I'm wrapping that up. Okay, so now there's this big adjustment. All of a sudden, I have a father that I never had before, and my mom was to inherit over $1 million.
Okay.
Well, it didn't come about because of probate. It didn't come about till after she passed. But now that he's this rich man, he's on his third. He's having it custom made, a 2023 Mustang. He's had a BMW convertible.
All right. So tell
Mustang,
ask us a question about that.
Now,
do you resent the money?
No, heavens no. I mean, that's his stuff. I don't care about money. I really don't.
What's the problem?
But the problem is, he went on a dating site. He told me in January that he's going to wear his wedding ring on his right hand. I guess that's some kind of a moniker for a widower who's looking for a date.
Okay.
So he's wearing his wedding ring on because he told me that. I thought he cared about how I felt about it.
Are you getting to the question or not?
Karen?
Because you got to have a question, Karen.
Karen, are you needing help with your dad? You have a dad now that's acting very different, which happens when you remove a important figure from a family. All of the dynamics change.
And he's actually not. He changed when she died.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Now he's still him.
Yes.
And as far as God goes, like one lady he said he was talking to, and my husband and I are both, we both love Jesus. We're both born again. But he said that this one gal he was talking to said she was born again, and he called that a deal breaker. I don't want anything to do with Jesus. It's like, okay, I saw this coming. I was telling my husband I was afraid of it.
But
he's
what
gonna have
is
money, he's going to have stuff,
and
now he's got a lady he's dating.
Hold on.
So Karen,
I'm gonna have to ask you to ask us a question.
Yeah, Karen, it's really overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I hear that you're really overwhelmed. And here's the thing, with parents, we don't get to control their behavior. I think you can reflect back to him, Dad, this is out of character for you, and I don't know how to respond to you. This is not...
The way I said it was, I miss my dad, who I thought you were.
Okay, because and that's a way to say it too. And so
now I am again, like I always was, kicked to the curb. He wants nothing
that's kind
to
of
do with me.
Okay.
Kind of a shaming thing, though.
He's found his soulmate in this 50-year-old
it's very
woman
disturbing.
with a 10-year-old son, and now he's planning on moving in with her.
Okay.
He's going to be spending the weekend with her. He talks to my husband. He texts.
All right, I'm gonna give you some advice, and here it is. Your father is compensating. Is trying to cope with the loss of his spouse. He's not doing a very good job, in your mind. He's in survival mode. He feels so free. He may even be forsaking his faith, I think you're saying. But here's what I would do. I would get out of his dating life. I wouldn't allow him to tell me stuff about his dating life. It's just too painful. Especially when he's telling you that somebody that is a Christian, it's a deal breaker kind of thing. I just wouldn't do it because, you weren't used to this dad before, and now here he is, and it's kind of a nightmare dad. That's my thought, is do not allow him to tell you what's going on in his dating life and have a relationship with
But
you.
also be prepared, because men typically marry very quickly and they do their grieving within the next relationship.
Yes,
and they have a hard, no matter how old he is, they have a really hard time tolerating the aloneness. And so his feelings are going to override his faith, his logic, any of that. And so I think there's also a fear he has all this money, and that may be how he woos someone. And so if you have any control over helping him put some structures in place to manage the money so that he doesn't throw it all away, that would be good. And then I think you have to grieve, because I'm hearing you say now you're being ignored again. Yes, you are, Karen. This is a lifelong pattern. And you have to grieve that you didn't have the parents that you needed, and that you were the one that was always there for them and always supportive, and yet they don't know emotionally how to really see you and hear you and connect with you. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that in your husband, you have found someone who can do those things for you, and that you focus your energy there where people can be mutual with you.
Jim, what are you thinking about this situation?
Well, Karen, you are incredibly enthusiastic, and even when Steve said, "How are you doing?" you said, "Great," and maybe you're not doing so great. You don't have to be the hero in this family. Remember when your dad said to you early on, how perfect you were or whatever? You don't have to be that person. You're not that person. But a lot of us play into that in what we call the hero mode. There's different
it's the
modes.
only attention she's gotten, right?
Right. And so, make sure that I'm going with Jill. Be in a small group, be close to your husband, share your pain and your grief in the midst of that. And, you have a relationship with your dad, but it's not going to be totally different with your mom passing. And yeah, sure, and I say this all the time, but, honor your dad. He's your dad, but protect your own soul, protect your family.
Good point.
And so honor him, yeah. But you can honor him. His relational skills aren't that great, it doesn't sound like. So he's not going to have as high expectations as you. Honor him. At the same time, protect your heart, protect your family.
So often the man just goes off on you could say a tear, and just acts like a teenager again, because maybe they feel like they've been trapped or whatever. And so kind of part of this is grieving the expectation you had that, it was going to be a mature man after the death of your mom, and when in reality turns into a teenager and doesn't even make sense when he's talking about folks. And remember this thing by Bill W. Acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. The more you can accept him as weird, strange, and teenagery, then the freer you're going to be from being controlled and hurt by him. And after he's ignored you all this time, and now you've got a chance where he could be close to you, it's ignoring you all over again. That has to be really, really painful. And I'm sorry for what you're going through in that area.
Well, and if you said you grew up in an alcoholic home, so if he's one of the alcoholics, then you've got to factor all of that in as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? They become very self-focused.
I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back, and I hope that's going to be a book that could be helpful to you, where we start responding to God rather than reacting to weirdness in weird people that we love and care about. Anybody else, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, you can get that book. Also, we're giving away Henry Cloud's book, A Gift of Any Amount, and it's called Trust, and it's a great one. And he's done such a good job on it. We had him on the program, loved that. But trust, gift any amount, we'll send it to you. But it is something that we just don't truly understand what we're doing when we say we trust somebody. We kind of say, okay, we're taking a risk here, and we don't know if they're trustworthy, but we're going to say we trust them, hoping that convinces them to be trustworthy. But Henry tells you how to really figure it out and protect yourself from someone that isn't very trustworthy at all. I think you'll love it. Gift of any amount. We'll send you the book, Trust. Right now, let's go and talk with, let's see. How about we talk with Beth? Beth from Phoenix, Arizona, Sirius XM. Beth, how are you?
Oh, I am great, and it's so good to talk to you. We are members of Club New Life.
Yay.
You folks literally saved our marriage when
Really?
we thought it was hopeless.
Oh, my goodness. Love that.
Yeah, we've been to several of your
workshops.
Workshops. Thank you. Yes, workshops. But so my question is, I have an adopted daughter, and through DNA, she connected a few years ago with a half sibling biological sibling who has sent her a lot of pictures of her family and given her a lot of information. But this half-sister has wanted to keep her a secret from the family, even though my daughter's biological father was a single man, divorced man when she was fathered, and it was just a quick relationship, and he never knew about her. But anyway, she has been contacted on Ancestry by a biological niece, and she wants to honor the half-sister who wants to keep her a secret, but she'd like to have a relationship with this niece, and she doesn't know how she's asked me to help her. She doesn't know how to navigate responding to the niece and not offending the half-sister. She doesn't want to, break off a relationship with this half-sister.
We can help you with this after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back talking with Beth here, and I'll just let Jim, you could talk about what we talked about at the break, about how to navigate this situation where a person doesn't want you to connect with your biological siblings there. Jim, you want to start us off here?
Well, Beth, it's actually the new world in which we live, right? Because of, Ancestry.com and all those kinds of things. And actually, personally, we have an adopted daughter. My wife has found relatives now through Ancestry that she didn't know. And so, this is a new world. And so it's not easy. But I frankly see no problem with her having a conversation with this other person. You don't have to give every detail at once, but I would tell the half sibling. I know this is what you want, and I'm trying to protect that like crazy. But I do want to. I've decided I'm going to reach out to this person and try to, not get in the middle of it. That's what adults do. Adults say, when you have an adult-to-adult relationship, you don't go behind their back. You don't. Lie to them. Exactly. You just simply say, here's what we're going to do. And again, there may be some fallout, but it's not like you've done life with these people. And it may be for a moment, but I always find that truth prevails. And so when you say the truth, you know what, I really hear what you're saying, and I do want to protect, this new relationship I have with you and others. I am going to reach out, and I'm going to just tiptoe into this and see what she says. That's my thought.
Jill, anything from you?
Well, right. I think it's a hard situation, and your daughter doesn't know the family dysfunction here, right? She hasn't been privy to that. And so it sounds like the sister is protecting mom, is protecting the family structure from people finding out about an affair. And so a lot of times these things, you start relationships, and as parents pass on and things like that, there's more room for more truth to come out. And so she has to be aware, I think, of the family dynamics. And I would talk to the sister about that. You reached out. Why did you reach out to me? And it must be painful for all of you, right? And I could see how I could be a reminder of that. And yet things happen in life and people are created. And I have a desire to know all of you. And so to maybe, talk it through with her a little bit more instead of just kind of, taking what she says and then making the decision. So as she furthers her relationship with her sister, I think hopefully there'll be more room to talk about it and to talk about sister's pain and all of that.
Yeah. There is no book, and I don't think there'll ever be a book entitled Building Relationship by Covering Up and Distorting the Truth.
Yeah.
And, it's just one of those things. It's an adult thing to step up, look at the truth, but also, why is it I don't want her involved? Is it protection or is it fear? What is it?
Well,
That's
right,
something
and did
you
she
could
go
explore.
behind her mom's back and even looking for her?
There you go.
Right? And so what does your daughter know?
It's not, it's her aunt. The half-sister is this girl's aunt. But anyway, and it was not, her mother had been divorced for 10 years from the father before my daughter was conceived. So he was a single man, and the mother
she was
had moved
single.
on. But no, she was remarried, and
okay.
she does know about my daughter now, and she got very angry, even though it had been 10 years since she had divorced this man, that he had fathered another child. Of course, he never even knew about it himself. So, it's just
okay, gotcha.
Very tough.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm going to send you a copy of Healing is a Choice. I hope that might bless you, her, and others, and anybody else. You can get that at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now, let's go over here. How about we talk with Renee has been holding Chantilly, Virginia, WAVA. Renee, thanks for holding on for so long, and we want to help you. How could we do that?
Basically, we are at a 26-year anniversary tomorrow, and I'm ready to walk away. So all the things that I have put forth in effort over 26 years, well, actually 15 of that, I think there's nothing left for me, and that my best recourse for my health is to leave. So my question would be, sad and brokenhearted though I am, I'm wondering if there's anything left that can be done that might be able to help save the marriage.
What's the big problem in the marriage?
My husband is adulterous, lustful, passive, chronic liar, and takes no responsibility. So we've been to pastor. Go ahead.
Oh, he's had an affair or multiple affairs?
I've not had detectives and taken pictures, but since year 3, my husband has not behaved in a manner that has been honorable. And there have been many things that have led to the conclusion he's an adulterous man, things that are very obvious, but he's never accounted for it.
Okay. Have you ever demanded him do anything as a result of these things?
Yes. We've spoken to 2 pastors over 15 years, a married couple deacon that were deacons, 2 doctors of psychology, and he just went to every man's battle, and nothing has changed for him.
No. Okay, well, we're going to take a break. We'll talk about this when we come back. I'm really sorry for what you've gone through. How long have you been married again?
26
years.
26 years. Wow. Okay. All right, you're listening to New Life Live. If you need some help, it's 1-800 new life. Call us.
New Life Ministries saved my completely broken marriage.
This is Steve Arterburn. Do you feel like your marriage is broken? New Life can help. Our Intimacy and Marriage Workshop examines the various types of intimacy, spiritual, emotional, and physical, as well as the challenges of experiencing true intimacy.
The next Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is July 28th to the 30th in Washington, D.C. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more or go to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433.
Don't settle for a miserable marriage or even one that's just okay. It's possible to have that great marriage you always want.
3.5 years later, we're still going strong, and I would encourage really anybody who's struggling in their marriage to go to a New Life workshop. They are more effective than anything else we tried.
1-800-NEWLIFE.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
All right, we're back. We love being back. And Jim, we talked about a lot of things here at the break. You had a question for her.
Hey, Renee, I do have a question. With all, this has been going on all your marriage, basically. Have you ever separated to kind of say, look, if you don't change, instead of just saying I'm going to divorce him, have you ever done that where you've actually separated it from him and then talked about what it would take to get back?
Over the years, since all of the knowledge of it began at year 3, I have not said I would divorce him, and I've not per se left. I've gone on vacations 2 weeks or something.
Right.
But just recently, I did fill out paperwork for a separation because we've not been intimate. So we've had an in-house separation for 3 years. And I filled out the paperwork and showed it to him. And it was on the computer, and the only thing he did was kind of lean in closer, more interested in the percentage of money that he would live on. And then all he did was say, well, I don't want you to go. And that was the size of it. And that was before his Everyman Bottles conference, which he only came clean about saying he looks at other women. And that was it. He never was honest, which of course has to be done. And he hasn't been accountable for anything.
That's interesting. He says, I don't want you to go. Well, and here's the thing. I don't think you should be the one to go. I think he needs to leave. And that you need to ask him to leave. But it's interesting. So you don't want me to go, but you're not willing to do anything to keep me here and to keep our marriage. So it's very confusing.
The criteria for us to be intimate again, because it had just gone on things even in his sleep, acting out and things. I just cry at night for years, and he's never cared about my tears. He would just lay there beside me. And anyway, the last thing he said 2 weeks ago to me was, well, I can't do anything about it. You put me out of the bed, you've put me out of the life, I can't do anything about it. So I don't really even understand why he went to every man's battle if he wasn't going to be committed. There's a lot of manipulation of things. And
right, well, that is the problem.
Even when we've been to the doctors of psychology, he manipulates it while we're sitting there. So it always ends pretty soon after a couple of sessions.
I was thinking something, Renee.
I'm not sure why I've stayed.
Renee,
yes, that is we wonder too, Renee.
But, Renee, I would make sure that you get some help and coaching on this in terms of how you could communicate this. But you may want to go to intimacy in marriage to say, look, I'm not willing to continue this process, and so I'm going to separate. And one of the criteria is to go to intimacy in marriage, because intimacy means connection. You obviously aren't connected physically, emotionally, in many ways with him, and see if he would be willing to do that. I mean, he was willing to go to every man's battle. See if he was willing to do that. But in the process, get the help you need. Get a coach behind you, speaking, what wisdom in terms of how you handled this. And again, it's not easy. I'm surely not making this so simple. But
well, and I wonder, is he passive about everything in his life?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so life happens
more or less
to
responsible
him.
for. We have an older son too, and it was a single parent and a 2-parent household.
Yes,
we tried to get counseling for that, but he wasn't accountable, and even with our son present, he wasn't honest. So he's quite passive, and his only response when I try to talk and lay my heart out and my concerns for our marriage, we're both saved Christians, but his is more verbal and less active. His only response is either to become belligerent and deny, or to stonewall me, and he can do that for hours.
Which is a form of control, right?
Very much
one thing.
Yes.
One thing you might consider is to say to him, "You have been this way since the beginning of our marriage, and I made a mistake. I didn't demand change 3 years into this marriage, and here we are. I am going to do now what I could have done at year 3. You get your act together. You leave here. And if you want to come back, you come back the man I thought I married." Right. Mm-hmm. But if you're so committed to juvenile sexual activity while married, please never come back. And I'll fill out the paperwork, and I'll complete the divorce that you started 3 years into our marriage. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to come back, you're going to have to go back to every man's battle again. And this time, do what 90% of the men do that go there and get better. When you take that kind of powerful, strong, assertive approach, a man pays attention to that versus getting that feeling she's never going to divorce me no matter what I do, even though I have broken our vows. And Jesus said you're entitled to divorce in those kind of situations. But I would just take a different approach with him. I would talk to somebody, practice, so that when you say it, he knows you are different. You mean it. Because it might be the thing that gets him to change some behaviors. Just doing the same old thing, I don't think ever.
Right. And sometimes you can put out there things that you don't have an answer for just to get him to think. Like I am puzzled by this man who is so passive and allows life to happen to him, and yet he can pursue all of these affairs and can pursue the wrong types of behavior, yet he's so passive. And so I would, you could put that out there. That's very confusing to me, because on the one hand, you're capable of making some things happen, but then the things that are really important, you don't make happen, and you allow things to just happen to you. And a man that acts out sexually like this, in sexual addiction or pornography, has a lot of insecurities about themselves and feels very bad about themselves. Yeah. And so I might even address that. It speaks to the fact that you must not like yourself very much. And I'm sad for you that you feel so horrible about yourself, and that you have treated your family, me and our son, the way you must feel about yourself. And that makes me really sad.
Yeah, and you can help him. He needs to hit rock bottom, and by you, still staying in the relationship and taking care of him and whatever, that's not going to help. Helping him hit rock bottom may be the answer for you when it comes to your husband. Your husband has the skills. He knows. He's been to every man's battle. He's been to these things. He knows what to do now. He just has to do it. With you in the house, it may not be, it may be too.
Right, and he may not want you to go because then his world changes, right?
Sure.
And he is seeking validation, and none of the things that he does validates. It brings up bigger issues than ever before. Speaking of validation, Larry Sonnenberg's in the studio, and I validate your value, Larry. What do you have for us here today?
Well, I have something for procrastinators.
Oh, good. I love that.
If you're looking to come to the workshop, Emotional Freedom, that starts tomorrow, this is it. This is your day. If you've been waiting for weeks and months.
Waiting for the deadline to pull the trigger?
Deadlines do amazing things.
They do.
And so this is your deadline. This is your day to call and get registered. Just call 800-NEW-LIFE, tell me you want to register, and I want to give you a reason why, what one person said here. One person recently wrote, "I don't think I've ever felt the unraveling of some feelings from the past so much about some of my primary family wounds, and also from a painful marriage and divorce from years ago. I've been able to forgive those involved and have made many amends through the years. I now feel like I have glossed over some of my feelings. I didn't realize how much pain I still had from some past pain and trauma events. I know I still have a mask and a facade and don't want to live like that any longer. I'm sober and abstinent from compulsive and obsessive food behaviors, so maybe I'm in a place where God can come in and finally heal this part of me."
Awesome.
A lot of revelation there in just a short time, just a day at a workshop. You can experience the same thing. You have a group experience. You're going to meet new friends. You're going to hear great talks from Steve, Chris, and Jackie. So folks, can't encourage you enough. And similarly, if you're procrastinating on your giving to New Life, this is the time, because we don't want it to be too late where we have to drop some stations that we would otherwise not want to drop because we're not getting the support from you for keeping that on the air. So please make a gift. You can make a gift of any size, any shape, anyhow. We'll take it. We'll take your car, your boat, your firstborn child. I mean, just give.
Larry's feeling a little desperate.
Yeah, so thank you for considering it. Thank you, everybody who is giving. It's just, it's an amazing thing, and it's humbling, so appreciate it.
So really what we're suggesting is if you don't give, come to Emotional Freedom, and we will help you have the freedom to give.
There you go.
That would be one way
Brilliant
to look at it.
Are
we
you
love
also saying taking care of the
us.
children, the firstborn children, will send them here to New Life?
If they give enough.
Some people will definitely sign that.
Did you hear that? If they give enough, Larry and Rhonda will take care of the children.
I didn't commit Rhonda.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Good. Smart move. All right. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you need some help, we'll take a break. Come back for the final segment. If you can help us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop is being held online as a one-day event Saturday, May 13th. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for your life and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly.
and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. So glad that you're with us here. Dr. Jim Burns, Dr. Jill Hubbard, Steve Arterburn here. Please help us if you possibly can by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Let's go back to the phones. And how about we talk with Stephen, Des Moines, Iowa, KPSZ.
Hello.
Hi there. How are you, Stephen?
I'm fantabulous. How are you?
I am also fantabulous today, and very few people can achieve that. Now, how in the world could we help you today, Fantabulous Steve?
Yeah, well, let's not run that into the ground. You can give me some advice and tell me how to proceed. How's that?
Sounds good.
Good. I'm going to be really succinct. I'm quite nervous being on the phone. I watch my grandchildren a real lot, and as a whole, they're pretty good. You know, they're just kids, so they might misbehave a little bit. But I ran into a situation where they misbehaved, they were impudent, they were disrespectful, and then they got clear out of control. I take the position that they're my children's children, so I can't discipline them or yell at them or do anything. So I called their dad, and I said, "You need to come home because your girls are out of control. They're 6 and 9." And he goes, "Yeah." And I walked in the house. Well, they had run out of the house and down the street. Nevertheless, I walked in the house, and I said, "Your dad's on the way home, and you lost a lot of privileges with me." So they started crying. I said, "Well, go to your room." And I guess they cried hysterically for hours. So I'm the bad guy. We had a family meeting last night and discussed it, and the little girls apologized. But I don't want to broach the subject anymore with them because I feel like that's beating a dead horse. But I don't feel like I have closure. So, did I do the right thing? And what should I do in the future?
So, how about this? Have you asked your son if he's been in similar situations with these girls? Because I suspect he has. And you might ask him, how did you handle it when this happened with you?
Are you referring to the hysteria?
Well, just the fact that they were disobedient, and then they had this reaction, you know, of crying for hours when it looked like there would be a consequence. But what's his experience with his own kids when these things happen? That's what I'd want to know first.
Well, just real quickly, one of the girls will misbehave, and then if she gets called on it, she does this crying jag thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's historic. It's historic, and it happens to both mom and dad.
Well, and then you could ask him, how do you feel about the way I handled it?
That's all right. That's good advice. But should I keep digging at this? I kind of feel like just dropping it and.
Well, I think, Stephen, you need to know how to proceed. And I think you could go back to your son and just say, hey, I don't want to over-talk this, but I feel like I just need kind of a final recap here. And I want to make sure that I'm in line. And tell him, I defer to you guys. I don't want to overstep boundaries. I love my granddaughters. I want to know how you handle these situations, or better yet, how you would like me to handle them. And give me some input, because I don't want to go against anything that you would want. And so, but I don't know if I'm doing too little, too much, or how have you found it works best? And again, what would you like me to do so that I know how to proceed moving forward?
And go ahead, Jim. Yeah.
Oh, fantabulous, Stephen. I think you did a great job. I honestly do.
I should not have said that.
I know. We're going to nickname you that now. But you know what? You're spending time with your grandkids. Grandkids at that age, 6 and 9, they have their meltdowns. I've never met one that has not had their meltdown. And what you did was you kind of put them aside. You're not responsible for how they deal with that in terms of crying or whatever. And, it probably hurt their feelings. But I wouldn't yell, scream, bite, shout. I would honestly put them on kind of a timeout, bring Dad into the picture, and have that conversation. But I don't think you have to belabor it either. Honestly, I think it's you want the relationship with those grandkids. You're part of the beauty is the love affair between generations is what I call grandparenting, and keep the love affair going. But yeah, they have to. And when Jill says, talk to your son, sure, have a conversation. Say, hey, is there something you'd like me to do? But you're right. You're grandpa. Grandpa gets the privilege to not have to, pound them into the ground like a dad does.
Right. Well, and after you have the conversation with your son, depending on how it goes, maybe you sit down with the girls.
Sure.
And with your son and their mom, and they tell their girls in front of you, okay, this is what we've told Grandpa to do in these situations.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Right? And they kind of reestablish some respect there.
They'd had the conversation because they apologized to Grandpa.
Well, that is true.
And so he does it, and then move on.
Right.
But say this to your son, perhaps. I don't ever want to do something that you can't support to your daughters, because I love them and I want to be the loving grandfather who also is respected. Is there anything that you think I might have done differently because you really can't support that to your daughters? Because I want you to be able to say, hey, Granddad's doing a great job here, even though it's tough on you. You need to start to comply and obey and do the right thing. Yeah. Hey, I'm glad you called. And I hope and pray something we said. Let me send you Every Man's Bible. I think you'll like it. And I hope and pray that something we said was helpful here. We don't have a lot of time, but I do want to ask you to consider supporting us. Some people are afraid and they quit supporting, or they lower their support. Maybe you're not afraid and you could. And that would be a great blessing to a lot of people. The biggest ministry that we have is our radio program. It reaches the most people. Some people, they tell us, if it wasn't for you, I would never know what a Christian counselor says. And I hear you talking to somebody else about their situation, and I can apply it to mine, and it really does make a difference. Help us. But it's not just about radio. It's about our workshops, our intensives, where people hear somebody speak, and then they're in a group with other folks sharing, and a clinician, a Christian counselor, leading that group. And we don't know of anybody that's doing this in a way that you can get that much help in a day or that much help in a weekend, where it's the combination of the material plus the process. You get a person who knows what they're saying, then you get a clinician, and then you get the other people in the group that want things to go well for everybody. It's a powerful, powerful situation. Pray for us, support us, and if you need some help with an emotional issue you're stuck on, how about calling us right now and join us tomorrow for emotional freedom? Jim, I want to thank you for being with us. Jim is the author of Doing Life with Our Adult Children. And a lot of people are not doing life with their adult children because their adult children said, go away. We don't want that. And Dr. Jill Hubbard has written this book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers. And I'm telling you, it's important that we resolve that and bring that to an end. Or guess what? We're going to teach our kids how to not forgive us. It just happens. If you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We want to help you. And if you can help us, it's the same number, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And we're going to be right back here tomorrow doing exactly this. Hope you'll join us.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.